Welcome everyone to today's presentation on the SEC versus SolarWinds case, where a cyber Sherlock will dissect the depths of corporate cybersecurity and accountability. Our team is composed of Essence, Gitu, Jensi, Senga, Sham, and Mohammed. Today, we'll delve into the aftermath of one of the most significant cyber attacks in recent history, the Summer's attack on SolarWinds. This attack exploited vulnerabilities on SolarWinds networks of targeted customers, including government agencies. As we explore the repercussions of this attack and the ongoing legal battles between SolarWinds and the SEC, we'll examine the impacts not only on the company itself, but also on the broader impact in cybersecurity. Join us as we navigate through the complexities of this case and its consequences. The series of events that became the Summer's cyber attack started in the years of 2017 and 2018, where various employees called to attention vulnerabilities such as excessive admin access flagged in 2017 and unmanaged device vulnerabilities in 2018. These vulnerabilities went undisclosed during SolarWinds' second IPO. Less than a year after going public, the threat actors accessed SolarWinds network, where they inserted and tested malicious code into SolarWinds Orion platform. Malicious code which turned into one of the most complex cyber attacks in recent history. Following the attack in early 2021, government agencies pointed at the Russian Foreign Intelligence Services as the threat actors. The series of events led to the filing on October 30, 2023, where the Security and Exchange Commission filed a legal action against SolarWinds and Timothy G. Brown, SolarWinds' former Vice President of Security and Architecture. Some key points of these legal actions are: the SEC alleges that SolarWinds and Brown made false statements about its cybersecurity practices and policies in public disclosures, SEC filings, and a Form 8K concerning the Summer's cyber attack. SolarWinds is accused of issuing general disclosures that did not adequately address specific cybersecurity risks and vulnerabilities. Second, the SEC asserts that the company's security statement misled investors by touting strong cybersecurity practices, including compliances with the NIST framework, secure development lifecycle, software products, policies, and access controls.
Let's quickly delve a little deeper into the key shortcomings that were derived from the complaint lodged by the SEC against SolarWinds. We have broken down these findings into people, process, and technology risks. Starting with people risks, we have identified several areas where SolarWinds fell short in terms of security initiatives, expertise, and oversight, as highlighted in an October 2019 presentation, noting a lack of true expertise and understanding of security within the core team. Additionally, an email pointed out a systemic issue around the lack of awareness for security and compliance requirements within the organization. Moving on to process risks, SolarWinds did not adhere to a secure development lifecycle process for software creation, neglecting standard security practices such as vulnerability and penetration testing. Additionally, Brown mentioned that their backends are not sufficiently resilient, highlighting an absence of system redundancy process. Poor password management was also a significant issue, with database login credentials being stored in plain text in configuration files and passwords stored in plain text on the public web servers. Finally, addressing the technology risks, weak privilege access controls permitted employees to hold administrative rights, potentially compromising security settings. The corporate VPN allowed access to the SolarWinds network via unmanaged devices, bypassing the DLP solutions. This also highlights an inadequate network segmentation in the SolarWinds network. The internal assessments from 2019 and 2021 have revealed some concerning results. SolarWinds had significantly fallen short of implementing the NIST cybersecurity framework controls as alleged by the SEC. The September 2019 presentation revealed that 21 out of 325 control programs were in place. However, 106 out of 325 controls were highlighted as the controls may be in place but require a detailed review. Finally, 198 out of 325 controls were not in place at all. Fast forward to January 2021 presentation, while there were some improvements with 130 controls met or partially met, the alarming fact remains that 106 controls, which constituted about 60% of the total controls, were completely unmet by SolarWinds.
Allegations by the SEC against SolarWinds and Timothy G. Brown range for fraudulent activities, full SEC filing, and lapses in internal accounting and disclosure controls. The case has reshaped the narrative around cybersecurity, placing a stronger emphasis on the accuracy of cybersecurity-related statements and the proactive management of cyber risk. This case has many firsts that show the SEC's shift from its traditional filings, including the first instance where the Commission charged a CISO with fraud and the first time a Commission utilized Section 13(v)(2)(b) of the Exchange Act in any cybersecurity enforcement matter. In summary, the legal action by the SEC against SolarWinds and Timothy G. Brown highlight the importance of transparency and accountability in cybersecurity practices, especially for public traded companies.
Let's talk about the role of corporate governance in the sunburst. When we understand the role of corporate governance in the attack, it unveils critical insights into the organizational vulnerability and governance shortcomings that contributed to the breach. Let's dive in. The corporate governance structure showcased deficiency in oversight and accountability, allowing the breach to occur and persist without detection. The decentralized governance framework likely resulted in inconsistency in cybersecurity practices across various departments. Our analysis suggests that companies' governance approach may have emphasized regulatory compliance over robust cybersecurity measures, and the insufficient incident response planning and lacking in business continuity plans left the organization poorly equipped for post-cybersecurity recovery. Now let's talk about the role and responsibility of CISO in the corporate governance. The CISO holds a critical position in maintaining cybersecurity within the corporate governance framework. The CISO is responsible for aligning cybersecurity strategies with the business objective and risk thresholds established by the board and senior leadership. Central to the CISO duties is the identification, assessment, and prioritization of the cybersecurity risk to safeguard information system, data assets, and operational continuity. Additionally, CISO ensures critical adherence to cybersecurity regulations, standards, and laws while facilitating audits to validate compliance adherence effectively. Let's look at how to enhance the governance framework. Moving forward, fostering a collaboration and open communication between the CEO, CISO, and stakeholder is very important. This will create more transparency and trust. There should be more priority for cybersecurity risk oversight. Boards must actively engage in cyber risk discussions, recognizing its integral role in business strategy. To strengthen cybersecurity, governance framework must include it in strategy instead of treating it as a separate or less important. Finally, creating a culture of cybersecurity awareness is crucial. Regular training for all employees build a vigilant workforce capable of identifying and mitigating cyber risks.
This breach was a huge impact on our national security. Despite this operation being primarily espionage-driven, this attack resulted in multi-layered harm, meaning that cyber operations can have far-reaching consequences beyond the initial objectives. From the compromised Black Start plans to potential backdoor access into critical infrastructure, the threats are pervasive and far-reaching. The SolarWinds breach, for instance, not only compromised sensitive information within the U.S. government agencies, but also exposed vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure and diplomatic communications. The ramifications are profound, undermining diplomatic relations and escalating tensions. These breaches have not gone unanswered. Sanctions against Russia's sovereign debt and the establishment of key positions within the National Security Council reflect the urgency to respond. However, the fear of escalation has tempered direct retaliation. Nevertheless, proactive steps have been taken to bolster our cyber defense posture. President Biden's executive order and the establishment of the President's Cybersecurity Advisory Board signal commitments to enhancing federal cybersecurity defenses and promoting collaboration across sectors. To truly enhance our nation's cyber defense posture, collaboration, innovation, and strategic planning will be our greatest assets. SolarWinds' partnership with government agencies showcased the advantages of PPP contracts, which boosted its reputation and revenue. These collaborations validated SolarWinds' expertise and led to the sale of tailored network management software, ensuring stability and its growth. During the SolarWinds breach, these partnerships proved beneficial in mitigating risk and facilitating recovery efforts. Overall, working with government agencies improved SolarWinds' efficiency and access to resources, enhancing its ability to serve both public and private sector clients effectively.
The Sunburst cyber attack's full impact remains unclear, making it challenging to assess the extent of the compromise and data affected. However, insights from a Harvard case study estimated the approximately cost with 52.6 million spent on remediations, which is exceeding typical cyber insurance coverage. Consequently, cyber insurance has evolved with insurers updating policies to separate first-party and third-party coverage. Organizations reliant on third-party softwares now face higher premiums and stricter documentation. Insurers require disclosures of a third-party vendors and implement robust risk assessment frameworks like SSCRM and SCRM. Just like cloud storage, enterprises pay what suits their organization better. Cyber reliability insurance before the Sunburst attack mainly focused on the first-party cyber coverage, such as business interruptions losses, data recovery, and asset damages. However, after the wake-up call from the SolarWinds attack, protection offered by cyber insurance policies has changed to separate these sectors of coverage. Therefore, today's cyber insurance typically includes the following first-party and third-party coverages, with the flexibility of the organizations to choose the ratio. The supply chain risk can be identified, managed, and monitored. First, identifying and documenting known risks is easier than the unknown ones. For example, suppliers' financial instabilities can be accessed through the historical data, while unforeseen events are harder to predict. Each risk must be evaluated based on the likelihood and the impacts to prioritize resources. Mitigation strategies may involve diversifying suppliers and creating redundancies. Possibilities and costs are key considerations for this, and implementations include settings, compliance standards, and conducting trainings. Continuous monitoring and regular reviews ensure adaptabilities by changing conditions in supply chain risk management.
We are examining the impacts of the SEC's actions on SolarWinds. If the SEC prevails, SolarWinds and Brown may have to return profits, face injunctions, and pay civil penalties. They could also be compelled to provide evidence during investigations. Short-term negative impacts include financial losses, reputational damage, increased regulatory scrutiny, and compliance costs. This could lead to employee attrition, harm competitiveness, and result in market share loss and decreased revenue. However, in the long term, the SEC's action may enhance investor confidence, prompting investment in cybersecurity resilience and raising awareness about cybersecurity risks. Yet, there are challenges. Global organizations face diverse regulatory landscapes requiring significant time, expertise, and financial investment to navigate. Non-compliance risk can have severe consequences like fines, legal action, reputational damage, and loss of business opportunities. Exploring the potential outcomes if the SEC loses the case against SolarWinds, a clearance of SolarWinds could temporarily boost market confidence and stock prices, offering short-term relief for shareholders and ensuring business stability by avoiding legal penalties. However, negative publicity and legal uncertainty could still harm SolarWinds' reputation and lead to ongoing expenses. Long-term benefits may include retained trust, improved compliance, and enhanced cybersecurity investments, fostering industry collaboration and investor confidence. Conversely, a loss for the SEC might undermine regulatory oversight, weaken corporate governance standards, and expose SolarWinds to long-term vulnerabilities, impacting market stability and investor sentiment. In conclusion, the outcome of the case against SolarWinds holds significant implication for investor confidence, insurance industry, impact on the national security, regulatory oversight, and the broader technology sector. Whether the SEC wins or loses, the aftermath will shape industry practice, market dynamics, and stakeholder perceptions in the years to come.